Hi everyone! So, today I want to tackle the problem that I have been having in terms of producing a good quality watercolor painting or illustration for my TN inserts. So, I have mentioned to you that the paper is, although it's good quality, I think this is 120. It's nowhere as good as, watercolor paper. So I decided to do a tip-in, and that way it would allow me to kind of do a nice piece of work that I would be happy with using high quality watercolors and high quality watercolor paper, which I will come to in a bit, and also then just basically tipping it in. So if you've seen my yesterday's video, I have begun my journal, and I actually stuck this lovely camera washi. Where is it? I can grab it. I don't think I can. 1 second. Might be in the drawer. Yeah, so this washi I absolutely adore. It has like so many different cameras on there, and the vintage cameras looks really cool. So I'll put the Etsy link below for you to check out if you want, where I got it from. And so this is what I created yesterday. So today I want to journal on this page, and I want to tip in a nice little watercolor illustration, so that way I would be able to look at something that I'm happy the quality of, and at the same time, combining it with illustration. And that's something I want to journal about today, and that's the basis of it. So this is my Mr. Darcy, in case you wonder. He's gorgeous. I try to mention him or show him because since the day I got him, I have been really enjoying using him. It's a he for me, although he is quite beautified, and sort of made him look quite pretty and feminized him really. So I hope he doesn't mind. So for today, if you want, you can join me, and what you will need is essentially a pencil. So I'm using a basic pencil that I have. This is HB2, and by the way, I have been kind of obsessed with the Palomino pencils. Everyone, there seems to be like a hype about these Palomino pencils. I mean, they look great. They seem to be quite soft from what people have described them as, and I don't know, I just like the look and the description of it, and it's something inside me makes me really want to get it. But at the same time, I think it's about something, let me just check, it's like, I don't know, 20 quid for a set of 12, something like that. So it's, or 30 quid. It's quite expensive for a pencil, and mind you, if I could get just one pencil I would, but they seem to be selling them in packs, and what if I don't like it? I'm then stuck with these sort of super expensive pencils. Okay, so that's the pencil. Then you'll need a brush, and depending how big you want to do your illustration, I'm going to do it on a small scale, and I'm going to use the round brush number 3. You will definitely need masking fluid for what I'm going to do, and I have 2 types here, and I'm not sure which one I will use, because this one I had for years, and it kind of looks like it might have solidified at the top, so I don't know if I need to kind of break it open, or I should say this bit seems to have gone hard. So if it's too hard to deal with, I will just use my Molotov Art Masking Fluid Pump Marker, which is great. It's very basic, very simple to use, and it's just like a marker, and you kind of draw with it or write with it, and later on remove it. You'll need obviously some water, some watercolors. Now I'm going to use my artist grade Schminke watercolors. These are the Schminke Horadam, and you can use whatever you have available and whatever you prefer to use. But so the one more thing before I come to this book, because essentially I'm going to use that book for inspiration, and it's a great book. I haven't done a review so far, but I just want you to show you this paper. So I got this paper block, watercolor paper block from Jackson's Art, and although there is no label on this block to say anything at all, this is the texture, so it's either rough or extra rough, something like that. And I haven't tried it yet, so I want to kind of try it out and see how I feel about it, because it's been sitting there for a while. So I want to kind of use it today and see how I feel about it. Someone from my subscribers has mentioned that they ordered the Jackson's Art paper and that they were very happy with it. So I thought at one point that it might be this paper, or obviously different smoothness levels, but it's probably the same kind of brand of paper. So, and then finally I want to show you this book. So this book is fantastic. Let me just take a little bit of... By the way, yesterday was the first time when I did a video with a coffee cup, and I really didn't want to do it for a long time, because I found it sort of almost a cliche that whoever does YouTube videos, they have either a glass of wine or a cup of coffee there, and I now understand why. It's coffee is power. It literally, if you had a super busy morning, and I'm always filming in the early afternoon when I put my son to nap, so at that point I feel quite tired, but at the same time I want to dedicate time to my art and journaling, and so I do need that extra kick of energy. So having a cup of coffee, it just kind of gives you that kick that you need, really. So anyways, enough about coffee. So this book is really, really good. So I haven't had a chance to really explore it, but I did do, if I just quickly find this little sketchbook. So I have shown you this, I think. I'm just trying, yeah. So I've done this flamingo illustration from this book, and I have done a flip through of the sketchbook, so you can go and have a look if you want. But essentially this paper is obviously not that fantastic. It's quite thin, but I love the sketchbook for the reason that it was just so easy. The size of it was easy, and if I wanted just to try something out without faffing about, it just kind of was perfect for that. And so this flamingo was from this book, because she was trying to... The whole idea behind this book is to try and bring some excitement to watercolor. So if I sometimes feel that I need some inspiration and I really want to do some art and paint in watercolors, but I don't know what, I find that this book always helps me. And the other thing is, it gives you a huge number of different techniques that you can use with watercolors that you may perhaps have heard about but haven't really tried out. So so it's called If You're Bored with Watercolors, Read This Book by Veronica Ballard Lilia. So it is fantastic. I'm not going to do a flip through right now because I want to start illustrating, but do let me know in the comment box if you do want to have a bit more detailed flip through, and I can do that for you. But today essentially I want to concentrate. Anyway, so this is what I want to try today. It's called a liquid mask technique. So basically painting a pineapple, and yeah, so I will all you need to do is just draw out a pineapple, quite a basic sketch with your pencil. Then you're going to cover all around the pencil marks, and essentially where you want the white to remain white, you're going to cover it with masking fluid. And then you're going to color in, wait for it to dry, and then go in with your watercolors, and then wait for the watercolor to dry. It's important not to use a heat gun when you're using masking fluid, because it's going to melt it, and she actually reminds you here in the comment box. And yeah, it's really really fun. So I cut my piece of paper to size, and once again, this is the texture. It's quite lovely. It's got that sort of straight kind of like mesh looking texture, so I do like that. And I think, but I haven't decided if I will use or not, I might use some of the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolors in combination with the Schmincke, just to kind of drop in some colors here or there, just to intensify the look. Just because, if I show you here, she has that sort of interesting kind of look going on. So I'll try to replicate it if I can. And okay, so I'll probably do a speed painting. I don't know how long I have been talking. So yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, so use an old brush when you're doing it, because it will damage the brush even further. And once you're done, as soon as you're done, go and wash your brush off straight away, because the masking fluid will rubberize quite quickly. And although I went and washed it all off instantaneously, there is still some residual, so you have to be prepared. But you know, for using it just for masking tape, that should be okay. Otherwise, there are also these silicone tipped brushes that you can use, so that might be a good idea. But I'm going to keep this brush separately now, so I can use it for just masking tape. Now it's also important to protect your surface that you're working on. I'm using my Ranger craft mat, and I've been so happy with it. I can literally do anything on this mat, and it all comes off very easily, and it protects the desk quite nicely, because I have this grey wood desk painted, so it's quite beautiful wood, and I don't want to ruin that. Before you start working with masking fluid, try on a corner of the paper just to see how it goes. Let it dry, and then either use your finger like that, or use a rubber to get rid of it. And I've just seen that it actually ripped some of the paper. So I will see how that goes. I'm prepared that it actually could ruin the paper, which means I have to go over and do it again. But like I said, this is a very old masking fluid, very many years, probably 5+ years, and I had to take off the rubber bit on top, because it kind of separated into this sort of a thicker fluid and quite watery at the bottom. I gave it a good mix, but I don't know how it's going to go, because it was quite weird when it's like cottage cheese when I was taking out the masking fluid. It kind of had that separation going on. So yeah, I will see how it goes. And then some bits dried quite quickly. You can see here they kind of became rubber almost immediately as I put them on the paper, and then others took longer to dry. So I'll see how it goes and how I get on with it. It's still a little bit tacky, so I'll wait a few more minutes and then I'll try to get it off the paper, but like I said, I'm slightly concerned. So while I'm doing that, I'm also going to give a mix to my Mulliton and do a little test on the side in case I need to use it for the next one, and I want to see how it is. Also, what's quite good about this one is that it's got this pale blue color, so you actually can see very well where you are applying it, whereas with this one it's colorless, so you're not, it's you know, you're not going to see it very well. You can see it because it's off-white and a little bit glossy, but you, for example, I can see I missed this corner here, and it's easy to miss bits and pieces. So I'm just going to demonstrate. So this is just a marker. You push a few times on the bottom just to get the fluid come out of it, and once that happens, then you can kind of use the pen. So there you go, you can just write with it and do all sorts of things.